Two of the fastest growing areas in all of South Florida are no doubt Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach. And while they're both very similar and booming with opportunity, each area has a completely different feel that attracts certain people for certain reasons. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through 5 different categories from lifestyle to housing and recreation to help you figure out if Fort Lauderdale or West Palm Beach is right for you. So let's first define what we're actually talking about when it comes to Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach for this video specifically. For Fort Lauderdale, we're talking about the city, not the suburbs. And if we break it down even more, we're really talking about everything east of I-95. For West Palm Beach, we're pretty much following the same structure. Everything east of 95. Now, if you're looking at West Palm Beach on a map, it's located in northern Palm Beach County, about 45 miles north of Fort Lauderdale and 70 miles north of Miami, both of which are just straight shots down 95. And that's one of the bonuses that a lot of people love about it, is that it's kind of away from the madness of the big cities, and even though it's still a major city, it just has a different feel all on its own. Fort Lauderdale's just about halfway in between West Palm Beach and Miami, roughly about a 45-minute drive from each, and so the accessibility to both cities, it's a big draw to the area, and it's actually one of the main reasons I chose to live there. Now let's start with the lifestyle, because this is probably gonna be one of the more important decisions that you're gonna make when you're choosing between one of these two cities. Fort Lauderdale, which is the larger of the two, has about 183,000 people and 36 square miles, so it's much more congested overall. I like to think of Fort Lauderdale as Miami's younger brother who wants to grow up to be just like him, but despite that, Fort Lauderdale is still in a league of its own. And one of the biggest draws to the area in particular is the boating lifestyle. Fort Lauderdale is known as the Venice of America because of its intricate canal system, which is over 165 miles in the city alone, and over 300 miles throughout the entire metro area. You have water taxis, sightseeing cruises, and some of the best waterfront dining in the country where you can just pull your boat up right to the restaurant. It's also home to the largest on-water boat show in the world, which draws in about 100,000 people every year. West Palm Beach, on the other hand, has about 117,000 people covering about 58 square miles, so right away it's already less congested and just feels more relaxed. And if Fort Lauderdale is Miami's younger brother, West Palm Beach is that other sibling that kind of ran away and just wants to do its own thing and values its privacy. And one of the biggest draws to this area is lifestyle balance. It's calm, but it's not boring. You got a walkable downtown, waterfront parks, and a growing restaurant and art scene, not to mention you're just across the river from Palm Beach, which is one of the most exclusive towns in all of South Florida. Both cities have really great walkable downtown areas, whether it's Las Olas in Fort Lauderdale or Clematis in West Palm. Both areas are very similar when it comes to commuting and travel, and they're both very car dependent areas, so you're gonna want a car, and I've said this a million times. Living in South Florida, you're gonna want a car. Getting around between the 3 cities in the metro area, it's fairly easy no matter where you live. But depending on which city you choose to live in, one is a little bit easier than the other. In Fort Lauderdale, you have more highway options right off the bat, and you have the BCT, which is Broward County Transit, the busing system, which has over 4,500 stops all across the metro area. And then Fort Lauderdale also has something pretty cool, which is the water taxi, which lets you hop on and off at different stops throughout the downtown area, all the way up to Pompano Beach. Now, this isn't something I would rely on for public transportation, but it's not a bad idea if you're in the downtown area and you just want to kind of hop around, or even if you just want an excuse to take a boat ride, it's a pretty cool idea. If you're someone who likes to get around on foot, Fort Lauderdale is considered somewhat walkable with a walk score of 56, meaning areas like Las Olas or the beaches are pretty easy to get around on foot. If you're commuting to Miami from Fort Lauderdale, you can expect to be in the car for at least an hour, sometimes even more. I went to an inspection about a week and a half ago in Brickell, coming from Fort Lauderdale, and it took me 2 hours to get there. So you kind of just have to be prepared to be anywhere from 1 to 2 hours in rush hour, and then during the busy time of year, definitely prepare for it to be on the higher end. Now, West Palm Beach, on the other hand, only does have access to the 2 major north-south highways, and it has the Palm Tran, which is its busing system, which is not quite as elaborate as Broward County. It has a lot less stops, Downtown West Palm Beach is still pretty walkable, but as a whole compared to Fort Lauderdale, it is less walkable with a walk score of 40, so you'll rely more on driving if you're not downtown. And if you're commuting to Miami from West Palm Beach, you are about 70 miles away, so it's definitely not practical if you say work in Brickell or work somewhere in Miami, but decide you want to live in West Palm Beach. Definitely not practical if you were to drive every single day. Now, when it comes to the similarities, both areas do offer Brightline service and local commuter options with the Tri-Rail, which both run north and south. Both cities have an international airport, but if you do travel a lot, there is some differences between both of them. Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International is one of the busiest airports in the world. I mean, it's a major hub for international flights, but to be quite honest, it's probably one of my favorite airports to fly in and out of. I've never had an issue there. Security's always a breeze. It's easy to get around. So for as busy as it is, it's actually a really good airport. Palm Beach International, on the other hand, also a really nice airport, much less congested, a lot less flights that go out of there. Therefore, it does tend to be a little bit pricier when you're looking to fly out of Palm Beach International. But it is a really nice airport, and if you're somebody who travels a lot for work and being really close to an airport is really important to you, depending on where you're flying, might not be the best option. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can keep putting out content about life here in South Florida, new developments, and everything that you need to know about moving here. Now let's talk about real estate and housing options. What are the different housing options and style of homes between West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale? If you're a boater or just somebody who loves living near the water, Fort Lauderdale's kind of hard to beat. And if you own a boat or plan to get one, there's a good chance you want to live somewhere with a dock right in your backyard. You got sleek modern homes right on the intercoastal, high-rise condos along the beach and the New River, and a ton of townhomes and new construction condos popping up east of US 1 and near Las Olas. And one of my favorite neighborhoods that embodies pretty much everything that Fort Lauderdale is all about is Rio Vista. It's one of those few neighborhoods where you get that rare combo of character and charm, mature trees, some really unique architecture with deep water docks perfect for larger boats or yachts, and some walkability for a single family neighborhood. I mean, you could walk to the Riverwalk, hop on a water taxi, and be at Las Olas in minutes. This is the quintessential Fort Lauderdale lifestyle that a lot of our clients are looking for, and it does come with a price tag, with pretty much all homes being in the millions, ranging anywhere up to $10 or $20 million. West Palm, on the other hand, is definitely known more for its historic charm. A lot of the homes here, especially in areas like El Cid, were built in the 1920s to 50s. You'll see Mediterranean with barrel tile roofs, arched doorways, mature landscaping. It just feels like old school Florida. And just like anywhere in South Florida, the closer you get to the coast, the more desirable and pricier the homes are. And these neighborhoods in West Palm are no different, with prices in neighborhoods like El Cid in the multi-millions, all the way up to 20 million. Now, if you're comparing single family home prices between both cities, Fort Lauderdale comes on top with an average single family home price of about 1.4 million, with West Palm Beach coming in right around 900,000 or so. And if you look overall at the taxes, West Palm, which is in Palm Beach County, is coming in at around 1%, and Fort Lauderdale, which is Broward County, is coming in at around 2% on the assessed value. So there's a pretty big difference between the two. And of course, this all factors into different things like the neighborhood that you live in. So this is just something that you're gonna wanna take into consideration when you're looking at your budget. So what is there to do in these two cities? Well, a lot of our clients that move to Fort Lauderdale do so because of the focus on water and having access to some of the cleanest beaches in the country. You have yacht clubs, paddle boarding, fishing, jet skiing, dock and dine restaurants, not to mention the nightlife scene, especially if you're on Las Olas or near the beach. And West Palm, a little bit more refined, but still offers that same type of lifestyle on Clematis Street. You're also right across the bridge from Palm Beach and Worth Ave, the breakers, multiple golf courses, bike trails, and you just get this more upscale feeling than party scene. And both these cities are growing like crazy. Fort Lauderdale has really been growing for the last 10 years or so, but it's more of a vertical and luxury type of growth. Flagler Village, which is just north of downtown, is kind of the middle of it all. I mean, it used to be warehouses and empty lots. It's now full of luxury high-rises, microbreweries, co-working spaces, and some high-rise condos. Over on Las Olas, you have some new luxury towers going up, mixed-use projects, and multi-million-dollar penthouses with intercoastal and ocean views. In short, Fort Lauderdale is kind of in its mature growth phase, while West Palm kind of feels like it's just hitting its prime right now. And West Palm Beach used to be this hidden gem, but that's changing fast with over $1 billion in new development either under construction or approved that's already bringing hedge funds and wealth managers from New York and Miami. And Vanderbilt has been approved to build a campus downtown, which is gonna attract a ton of new jobs in the tech and finance space. So one way I like to look at it is Fort Lauderdale's leveling up while West Palm is kind of just scratching the surface. Now, obviously, as a licensed realtor, I can't tell you too much about what I think about schools or crime because there's rules against that, but what I can do is give you the public-facing data where basically the community comes together and gives their input on it. So websites like niche.com are really good for that. And according to niche.com, Fort Lauderdale ranked for public schools with a B+, while West Palm Beach came in just a little bit lower at a B-. In terms of housing, meaning affordability and just overall options, they both scored about the same, a C-, which is pretty common in these high demand cities. When it comes to being good for families, Fort Lauderdale just beat out West Palm Beach. They gave it a B+, West Palm got a B. And for crime and safety, both cities landed at a C-, which is pretty much what you'd expect for major cities with high foot traffic and tourism. Overall, Fort Lauderdale scored an A- for livability, and West Palm Beach came in at a B+. Pretty close. And honestly, this is where a lot of people get stuck because they're both really good options. If you want to be closer to Miami and a little bit more of an established, faster paced area, then Fort Lauderdale probably makes more sense for you. But if you're looking for something a little bit quieter with a little bit more space, maybe a little bit more polished and a ton of opportunity, then maybe check out West Palm Beach. On average, West Palm Beach is going to be about 25 to 30% cheaper, but of course that's going to depend on the area you choose and the type of house you choose. And here's the thing, they're only 45 minutes apart, so if you decide to live in one, you can still enjoy everything that the other one has to offer. So if you're thinking of buying or selling a home anywhere in South Florida, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. Make sure to reach out to us at therealsouthflorida.com/YouTube or scan this QR code to get started, and we'll see you on the next video.